This is Audible.
The Diabetes Solution Kit: How to reverse diabetes symptoms naturally in less than 4 weeks using the best practices in diet, lifestyle, and herbal supplementation. 6th edition, author Dr. Scott Saunders, MD, narrated by Liam Jeffries. Copyright Barton Publishing, Incorporated.
Disclaimer: This guide is copyrighted with all rights reserved. The author does not assume any liability for the misuse of information contained herein. The information contained within the guide is offered to provide you with beneficial concepts regarding your health and well-being. The author is not a doctor, nor does he claim to be. Please consult your primary care physician before beginning any program of nutrition, exercise, or remedy. By consulting your primary care physician, you will have a better opportunity to understand and address your particular symptoms and situation in the most effective way possible. While every attempt has been made to provide information that is both accurate and proven effective, the author, and by extension, the guide, makes no guarantees that the remedies presented herein will help everyone in every situation, as the symptoms and conditions for each person are unique to individual histories, physical conditioning, body type of diabetes, and the specifics of the actual health and diet of the individual. Success will vary. Congratulations on taking the step toward freedom from your diabetes symptoms. Just by purchasing the Diabetes Solution Kit proves you know you are destined for a better life. This guide is packed with pages full of information you need to achieve real results. In fact, it has so much information you may not know exactly where to begin. Here is a starting point for your journey. If you've had diabetes for a while, hopefully you've already taken many of these steps. If you have, you can jump ahead. If not, begin taking these initial steps today. 1. Talk to your doc. Proper diagnosis is key before moving forward. Start with getting your fasting glucose levels checked. If your sugar results are elevated, request to have other tests performed. Although this plan is beneficial for type 1, type 2, and pre-diabetes, having a proper diagnosis will help you and your doctor determine which changes will suit you best. 2. Buy these supplements. Make a trip to your local health food store or an online vendor and purchase a bottle of cinnamon pills, as well as a bottle of chromium picolinate. These 2 supplements are incredible at lowering blood sugar levels. You'll find out more about other fantastic supplements for diabetes coming up on page 44. 3. Make this change. The first and perhaps most difficult change to make in beating diabetes is cutting out sugar and white flour. Start by eliminating these 2 villains. Once you have, begin the 3-phase plan for reversing your diabetes symptoms coming up shortly in this book. You'll also want to become a carb-counting master. Number 4. Stick with the plan. Lasting change will be the result of your commitment to reversing your diabetes symptoms. Now is the time to make a pledge of commitment to yourself. Read, commit to, and sign the pledge starting on the next page. My Diabetes Pledge. You made the initial commitment and ordered the Diabetes Solution Kit. Now, you are ready to restore your body to its natural state of health and lower your blood sugar. First things first, your ongoing commitment to yourself. When you ordered this kit, you invested in your dream to reverse your diabetes symptoms, but it often takes more than good intentions to stick to your plan. In the past, you may have tried to get in shape, eat healthier, or even tried to naturally lower your blood sugar, but all efforts ended with little success. So how is it going to be different this time? First and foremost, you are going to make a written and verbal pledge to yourself and your family. You are going to commit to work harder, stay motivated through every challenge, and be accountable for your success and failures. You are about to embark on a system that combines diet, diabetes-reversing foods, simple at-home remedies, and targeted supplements to drastically and quickly control your diabetes. The rewards are waiting for you, and you should begin to notice results in just a week or so. That is, of course, if you stay on track and follow through with your commitment. The Diabetes Solution Kit is a plan you can and should stick with for life. This is not a short-term diet. It is a necessary lifestyle change. Some people like to write their pledge on the first page of their journal or post it in a prominent location. Others find it useful to have a family member or friend witness their pledge, making it known to others that they are embarking on this journey to better health. Decide for yourself how to pledge your commitment. The important thing is that you make a promise to yourself and have it written down in order to make a significant change in your life. You can write your own pledge or use the following as your pledge, but it is important that you have one and commit to start now. Yours for excellent health, Joe Barton, founder and CEO, Barton Publishing Incorporated. My pledge. I promise myself that I will follow the Diabetes Solution Kit for the entire duration of time needed to see measurable and improved results. I will communicate to my family, friends, and most of all, myself, that this is important to me. I will forgive myself if I slip up and eat the wrong foods. I will not let any mistakes hinder me from continuing on my path. I will not quit or give up if not all the remedies work for me. I know there is a natural remedy that will work for me, and I will continue to live a healthier life by using holistic and natural means. I promise to be patient with others and myself. I will ask for the support I need to follow the system, and I will support my heart and myself by keeping a journal about my activities. Most importantly, I will find ways to live a life of passion, faith, purpose, truth, and love, and support my body by getting the nutrition, rest, and support it needs. You can also write out the pledge in your own words, if you'd like. Introduction. Sometimes, on a car trip, you need to make a U-turn. Not to return to where you started, but to avoid going any further in the wrong direction. You look at a map and notice road signs that clue you in to the fact that it's time to change course. No matter what your exact location on the diabetes journey, officially diagnosed, told you are borderline, worried about family history, you can reverse and control this disease. Congratulations! You took the first step by purchasing this report. The Diabetes Solution Health Kit from Barton Publishing will be your navigator for a healthier life that features as little diabetes medication as possible. You will learn the latest best practices and remedies for diet, lifestyle, and herbal supplementation. It will be abundantly clear that you can reverse course. You can prevent diabetes from wreaking any more havoc in your life or the life of loved ones about whom you are so concerned. You can stop your pre-diabetes, maybe the doctor called it borderline, in its sinister tracks. Honest. Diabetes can be controlled. Diabetes symptoms can even be reversed. This report covers the latest research from scientists who are studying diabetes. A refreshing number is seeking out which lifestyle changes in diet, exercises, and rest can make the biggest impact. Some encouraging words. Diet will not be a four-letter word to the negative in this report. Contrary to the myth, good food and diabetes go together. And one more happy hint of how you will be reversing diabetes soon. This report will explain how it is possible to complete a diabetes buster workout in as little as 12 minutes, which adds up to just more than a half hour per week. You will also be clued in on what dietary and herbal supplements cutting-edge health practitioners are recommending to their patients. The report cites important scientific discoveries and takes full wisdom from common sense and real-life stories. It is the best of both worlds. Let's get going. The Diabetes Reversal Plan starts today. Diabetes Reversal Resource Guide. Know the terms, prepare for reversal. Few sports fans would dream of watching their favorite teams and players without identifying them. Most moviegoers enjoy the show much more when they recognize the actors or discover a new talent. Think of your favorite hobby or pastime. One reason you like it so much is because you know it. In fact, you probably know it better than most people, which makes you feel good and likely more respected by others. But when it comes to illness, well, most Americans do not really know what is making them sick or just how it all went downhill. They can be quick to ask doctors for a drug to make it better, then wonder why that drug is making them feel funny or fatigued or worse. Public health scholars and health-oriented psychologists will tell you many people with diabetes do not know much about what is happening in their bodies. In fact, it is estimated about a quarter of the 24 million Americans with diabetes are undiagnosed. And among those adults who have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, a significant portion, typically unintentionally, waited 9 to 12 years beyond the optimal time to fend off their disease. It is hard to fight off a condition if you are not aware of it. Learning more about diabetes and pre-diabetes will help you stick with the action steps of the Diabetes Solution Kit. You will more willingly accept the strategies as smart moves or explain them more clearly to that loved one. Knowledge is not just random power. Knowledge about diabetes and pre-diabetes is power to make a change for the positive and the permanent in your life. There are a number of key terms and concepts that will guide your diabetes reversal. Here is a capsule view of the disease, with some of those important terms in boldface. Our bodies need fuel for pretty much every task we face, whether it is writing an email or raking the yard, even sleeping. We get most of that raw fuel from glucose, which is a sugar. All the foods we eat, such as carbohydrates and proteins, get converted into glucose. The glucose then travels via the bloodstream into the brain and body, especially the muscles and liver. That is why doctors refer to blood glucose levels, or the cultural shorthand, blood sugar. In order for muscles to receive the glucose from your tuna sandwich or apple slices with peanut butter, insulin must be present. Insulin is a hormone the body makes naturally in the pancreas. We will talk a lot more about insulin in this report, but it is enough to remember insulin is a natural hormone in the body. If possible, put aside for now that insulin is also a widely prescribed medication for diabetics. So, insulin, in effect, regulates whether glucose makes it to your muscle cells for movement and physical output, plus to the liver for its vital work of removing potential toxins from the body. It is an easy, if unfortunate, leap to characterize insulin as simply the gatekeeper of glucose or blood sugar in the body, or to say diabetes is a blood sugar disease. Wrong and wrong. What most people do not know, even a sizable portion of diabetes patients, is that insulin also helps store extra nutrients such as vitamin C, magnesium, potassium, and sodium, to name a few, in the cells. What is more, insulin plays a central part in how amino acids are used to build proteins and create new muscle cells, which explains why some wayward bodybuilders are injecting the stuff. Glucose and insulin clearly both play major roles in how we think. Glucose only, as the blood delivers it straight to the brain, and physically, as glucose moves to the muscles via the bloodstream, then is received when insulin is present. In diabetes, there are two things that can go wrong with glucose or insulin, or both. Type 1 diabetes. In type 1 diabetes, the pancreas is not producing any insulin, or not enough insulin to supply the body's cells with glucose. This happens through what is called an autoimmune response, which means a person's own cells are attacking and destroying healthy cells that have been mistaken for foreign invaders. In this case, the body has turned hostile to the cells in the pancreas that produce insulin. Those cells under attack are called beta cells and do some amazing work despite long odds. This report will show you ways to come to the aid and defense of beta cells. Type 2 diabetes. In type 2 diabetes, the body's cells become resistant to insulin, and in many cases, the body produces too little insulin. A buildup of glycogen, a starch to store energy or sugar, in the cells causes insulin resistance. Remember that term, insulin resistance. You will hear it a lot from doctors, who might never explain it more than to label it the enemy. What you need to know about type 2 diabetes, in short form, is that the body's cells will not accept insulin. Then, in a devious chain reaction effect, insulin does not make it to the cells in the muscle and liver, and neither does glucose. So that glucose or blood sugar stays in the bloodstream, which is why blood sugar readings are high in type 2 diabetes patients. Pre-diabetes. To review, diabetes is not a blood sugar disease. Blood sugar or glucose readings might indicate a person has type 2 diabetes or is trending toward the disease as someone categorized with pre-diabetes. But it is not, at the root, what is wrong in the body. Insulin is central to what has gone haywire, and along with not supplying enough glucose to the muscles, researchers are beginning to see the lack of insulin production, type 1, or insulin resistance, type 2, leads to additional problems, such as interrupted muscle building, decreased cell rejuvenation, and blockage of the delivery of vitamins and minerals to the cells. Diabetes. Who has it, and who is headed that way? Statistics. The latest U.S. government statistics estimate 25.8 million Americans have diabetes. That number is growing at a rate of 1.9 million people per year. These are epidemic proportions. Approximately 5% of the cases diagnosed among adults is type 1 diabetes. Type 1 is often first diagnosed with pancreatic disorder in childhood, or the teen years, or in some cases, into the middle ages of life. Type 1 patients do not produce any insulin in their bodies, so they take insulin medications, such as insulin injections, to stay strong and well throughout life. The remaining 24+ million Americans have type 2 diabetes, which is the condition most reversible and positively affected by the diabetes reversal plan explained in this report. The top risk factor for type 2 is obesity, defined as 20% or more than a healthy weight. Type 2 diabetes was long referred to as adult-onset diabetes because it tended to develop later in life, after those years of carrying extra pounds. But the full-force childhood obesity epidemic has pushed type 2 diabetes diagnoses as young as the teen years. Studies over the last decade have identified pre-diabetes symptoms in children as young as 8 or 9. The exact cause of type 2 diabetes is becoming more clear with the current understanding of how the cells use sugar and insulin. The cause is eating too much of the wrong foods, coupled with a sedentary lifestyle. With a constant supply of sugar, the cells build up too much sugar and shut down the glucose, sugar transporters. Symptoms. Similarly, the person with type 2 diabetes needs to figure out any and all ways to prevent the buildup of insulin resistance. One vital step is getting blood sugar levels to the normal, or better yet, ideal range, by making sure there is no excess storage of sugar in the cells. The longer your cells are exposed to high blood glucose levels, the more probable those cells will become insulin resistant. That is why it is so critical to determine if you are confronting diabetes and do not yet know it. Although obesity is the top indicator, not everyone with insulin resistance is obese. Other symptoms may include fatigue, hypoglycemia, frequent urination, and gaining weight around the middle. Family history of diabetes is another reason to schedule regular checkups with your health practitioner for screening and testing. The Diabetes Solution Kit is all about being proactive. Here are signs and symptoms of diabetes, type 1 or 2, that should ring an alarm in anyone experiencing these physical traits without any other explanation. Frequent urination, excessive thirst, increased fatigue, unusual or unexplained weight loss, irritability, blurry vision, frequent infections of the skin, urinary tract or vagina, poor wound healing, tingling in the hands and feet. Remember, each symptom is relative to your usual body characteristics. You are the best judge of whether you are much thirstier on a daily basis than in the past, or if you are markedly more irritable with no added stress in your life. Along with 25.8 million Americans who have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, the government's newest figures, 2011, estimate 79 million Americans have prediabetes, a condition that, unchecked, will lead to type 2 diagnosis within 10 years. Doctors might still use the term borderline diabetic to identify a person with prediabetes. Another term for prediabetes is impaired glucose tolerance. Whatever the term, it is a call to action. Now, think about this challenge. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, 7 million Americans do not know they have type 2 diabetes. That being the case, what percentage of those 79 million with prediabetes do not realize or do not want to hear such warning news from our health practitioners? While the Diabetes Solution Kit fully embraces natural and safe lifestyle changes you can make toward controlling diabetes in your life or that of your loved one, it is foolhardy to think healthy practitioners cannot play a vital role. It might even be that you have to take a prescription drug to get into the best position for reversal. You can be the best advocate for yourself or loved one by accessing any and all resources and best practices. Facing the truth of blood sugar readings, or what a doctor might say, nicely, rudely, indifferently, no matter, is an important strategy for reversing diabetes. Risk factors. Here are some of the factors that make it more likely a person has prediabetes and a greater likelihood of developing type 2 diabetes, especially if you do not take steps for a diabetes reversal. You are overweight. You are 45 years old or older. You have a parent, brother, or sister with diabetes. Your family background is African American, American Indian, Asian American, Hispanic American, Latino, or Pacific Islander. You have had gestational diabetes during pregnancy or gave birth to at least one baby weighing more than 9 pounds. Your blood pressure is 140/90 or higher, or you have been told you have high blood pressure. Your HDL cholesterol is 35 or lower, or your triglycerides level is 250 or higher. You are fairly inactive, or you exercise fewer than 3 times a week. It is important to be honest about whether you recognize yourself in the above list or have been warned by a health practitioner about diabetes. Cutting-edge doctors and researchers say a greatly overlooked frontier of diabetes is not treating a person differently according to the stage of diabetes or just how long the beta cells have been malfunctioning. A diagnosis of prediabetes can be a rude awakening to years of gaining weight, but it is also an opportunity to reverse the condition before any irreparable damage is done. Measuring blood sugar levels, diabetes and prediabetes. Diabetes and prediabetes. When you get a blood test done at the doctor's office to determine blood sugar levels and any possibility of diabetes or prediabetes, you are asked to fast 10 to 12 hours before the blood draw, called a fasting blood sugar. For most people, it means skipping breakfast and getting the blood drawn at a morning appointment. The blood sugar level is measured in milligrams per deciliter, or mg/dl, which is the standard measurement unit here in the U.S. Most other countries remember the supposedly big shift to the metric system that did not quite happen? Use millimoles per liter, or mmol/L. You will likely see this shorthand used in a medical journal or on a European health site, but for this report and our purposes, let's stick to mg/dl. Any blood sugar reading 126 milligrams per deciliter or higher is considered a diabetes diagnosis. If your reading is between 100 and 125 milligrams per deciliter, you will be categorized as prediabetes with type 2 in your future, unless you can reverse direction. Any number below 100 milligrams per deciliter is considered normal, but many astute health practitioners urge their patients to keep in the 70 to 85 milligram per deciliter range. There are studies indicating individuals with blood sugar levels 85 milligrams per deciliter and above are at an increased risk for heart disease. Typical glucose or blood sugar levels. Fasting blood glucose, 70 to 99 milligrams per deciliter. 2 hours after eating, postprandial, 70 to 145 milligrams per deciliter. Random, casual, 70 to 125 milligrams per deciliter. There are other tests to help determine a diabetes or pre-diabetes diagnosis, including ways to catch it earlier and reverse it sooner. This report covers those recommended tests, coming up in the next few pages. Here is the good news. Diabetes symptoms can be reversed, no matter whether you start at 125 milligrams per deciliter and above, or want to move comfortably into the 85 and under category from, say, the low 100s. Prediabetes research is perhaps most encouraging about how you can make an about-face toward better health and a longer life. For example, the federally funded Diabetes Prevention Program clinical trial published its findings in 2012, more than a year early because the results were so positive. This trial engaged volunteers with prediabetes readings who agreed to make modest but documented changes in their daily eating and physical activity in order to lose 5 to 7% of their total body weight. These volunteers reduced their risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 58%, significantly better than the 31% reduction of risk for a control group that took the diabetes drug metformin. Lose weight, do it naturally, forego the side effects of a prescription drug, and get a way better result? No wonder that study ended early. A few words about Syndrome X, metabolic syndrome. About 20 years ago, Dr. Gerald Reaven of Stanford University introduced the term Syndrome X to describe what he called a constellation of symptoms that are all associated with insulin resistance, including high blood sugar levels, high blood pressure, heightened cholesterol and blood lipids, and an increased waist circumference. Those symptoms, of course, are not altogether different from those experienced by many people with type 2 diabetes. Some researchers have contended that Syndrome X, or the more generic, metabolic syndrome, is just a label, and that individuals in this category should be classified as pre-diabetic or type 2, depending on blood sugar levels. In a 2006 article in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, Reaven did not argue the point. He wrote that the important thing is people are categorized as suffering from insulin resistance, which, by his career's work, means treating those people aggressively to reduce heart disease and stroke. He agrees with the Diabetes Solution Kit position that treating blood sugar levels is not the issue. It is more appropriate to focus on the body's cells becoming more sensitive to insulin. To add to the professional drama, no wonder it is called Syndrome X, several major medical organizations, including the International Diabetes Foundation, World Health Organization, American Heart Association, and National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, have all developed slightly different criteria for who should be diagnosed with the metabolic syndrome. If you have at least 3 of the following health markers, you will be defined as having Syndrome X. Note that having as little as 1 marker raises your risk for cardiovascular disease. Elevated fasting blood glucose levels of 100 milligrams per deciliter or higher. Elevated blood pressure of 130/85 mmHg without medications. Reduced HDL or good cholesterol, less than 40 milligrams per deciliter for men and less than 50 milligrams per deciliter for women. Elevated triglyceride levels of 150 milligrams per deciliter or higher. Excess body fat around the waist, 40 inches or more in men and 35 or more in women. While the first 4 markers are blood test results and long documented as risk factors for heart disease and stroke, waist circumference or belly fat is a more recently documented risk factor scientists are taking quite seriously. Carrying extra weight around the middle appears more likely to cause insulin resistance than, say, additional pounds in the hips or legs. For example, a 2008 University of Southern California study connected excess abdominal fat among women 35 to 54 to a fast-rising rate of stroke among females in that age group. The rate has tripled in recent years, said researchers. Female waistlines, on average, are 2 inches bigger than a decade ago. Plus, the USC study showed the percentage of women with abdominal obesity rose from 47 to 59%. And if that is not enough motivation to trim belly fat, Consider that another 2008 study revealed that people who have large waistlines in their 40s are more likely to develop Alzheimer's disease and other dementia conditions in their 70s. An Oakland, California-based Kaiser Permanente Division of Research study reported that individuals with the biggest bellies had 2 times the risk of the leanest people. Belly fat was deemed a more significant risk factor than family history, even if both parents suffered from Alzheimer's. Many of the remedies presented in the Diabetes Solution Kit will address heart disease along with the targeted diabetes, but never hesitate to talk to your health practitioner about any concerns you have about heart disease, stroke, Alzheimer's, or Syndrome X. It is important to keep in mind that while type 2 diabetes presents significant complications if not treated and controlled, a majority of type 2 patients die from heart disease or stroke hastened by unchecked diabetes symptoms. That is why Stanford's Dr. Revan has devoted his career to calling attention to Syndrome X symptoms, no matter if some critics say it is just another word for prediabetes or type 2. Tests you need to get soon and regularly. Before we discuss the food and lifestyle changes you can make to reverse diabetes symptoms, plus herbal and natural remedies that can psychologically support your reversal, let's talk about how to be proactive at the doctor's office. Remember, knowledge of the right things to ask and even demand when needed is what gives you the true power to reverse your diabetes symptoms. Here are tests you want your practitioner to order for you on a regular basis and why. Fasting insulin test, lipid test, cholesterol and triglycerides, hemoglobin A, fructosamine, C-reactive protein, fasting blood glucose test. The most common test for type 2 diabetes or prediabetes is the fasting blood glucose test, sometimes called a fasting plasma glucose test. This test equates to the executive summary of a business report. It provides a capsule picture showing that over 100 milligrams per deciliter means you are prediabetes or borderline diabetic, and less than 85 milligrams per deciliter is an optimal reading. But to know more, especially as you skitter past 100 and even 125, you have to request, and when needed, demand additional tests from your practitioner. Fasting insulin test. The fasting insulin test is not commonly ordered by physicians, but provides a snapshot of your potential for insulin resistance. If you are on the high side for this test, more than 10 to 15 microunits per milliliter, and the fasting blood glucose test is over 100 milligrams per deciliter, plus have a waist circumference of greater than 40 inches for a man or 35 inches for a woman, you are at the highest risk for insulin resistance and diabetes. Another measurement your doctor can glean from the fasting insulin test is whether beta cells in the pancreas are reaching the burnout or exhaustive stage that comes with insulin resistance. For instance, if your fasting blood glucose test has regularly been high and now your fasting insulin test shows dropping levels after initially being high, your beta cells are flagging and diabetes is gaining an unfortunate foothold. Lipid, cholesterol, and triglycerides. A lipid test measures your cholesterol and triglycerides levels. While a staple for cardio patients, it helps diabetic and pre-diabetic patients get a fix on any symptoms of metabolic syndrome. You want to keep your overall cholesterol readings below 200 milligrams per deciliter for blood glucose management and maintain an LDL, or bad cholesterol, less than 100 milligrams per deciliter to protect against heart attacks or strokes. HDL, or good cholesterol, actually protects against heart problems. Individuals with high levels of insulin resistance often have dangerously low levels of HDL, less than 40 milligrams per deciliter. What is more, triglyceride levels at 130 milligrams per deciliter or greater are a marker for an increased risk of insulin resistance. You can check out the Cholesterol Secrets report by Barton Publishing and discover a unique and highly effective technique for lowering blood pressure and cholesterol levels at www.cholesterolsecrets.com. Hemoglobin A1C. One test you do not want to skip is the hemoglobin A1C. If you are pre-diabetic or diabetic, insist on this test every 3 to 4 months. It measures glycation levels in the body over the last 3 to 4 months when performed on that time basis, which gives you a more complete picture of potential damage done to your body cells. It is not uncommon for some individuals to have normal range blood glucose readings, maybe not optimal, but normal, yet still be significantly high on the A1C scale. The hemoglobin test looks at how much glucose has been sticking to your red blood cells over the last 3 months. Red blood cells live about 12 weeks in the body. The more glucose on the red blood cells, the more potential for glycation-induced cell damage. Practitioners have been debating what is a normal versus risk level for hemoglobin A1C. Most labs will label a 4 to 6% reading as normal for healthy people, while some doctors say getting down to even 6.5 to 7% is a reasonable goal for patients with diabetes or prediabetes. More than a few natural health practitioners will argue it is even more vital for people with prediabetes or diabetes to strive for getting not only below 6%, but even below 5%. Interestingly, anti-aging experts take the same below 5% tack for optimal longevity. One practical matter about hemoglobin A1C tests: there is no one standardized methodology for this measurement, so be sure to use the same lab each time. If you change doctors, try to keep the same lab, or if not, be clear that comparing results from 2 different labs can be misleading. Because of potential hemoglobin inaccuracies, some practitioners might recommend a fructosamine test, though its drawback is it only gauges glycation damage over the last 3 weeks. C-reactive protein. There is one more test to discuss with your doctor or your loved one's doctor. The federal government approved the C-reactive protein test in 2003 as a screening protocol for heart disease. It measures the amount of inflammation in your bloodstream, which has been increasingly identified as the root cause of cardio problems. Researchers contend that C-reactive protein is a key factor in diabetes and its complications. You want your test to be in the 1 milligram per deciliter range or less, even if some medical associations officially hold that 3 milligrams per deciliter or less is healthy. As an added bonus, keeping track of your C-reactive protein and keeping it low will significantly reduce your risk of heart attack. Control blood glucose, home meter. So, you have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. It's simply good health strategy to test your blood glucose level 4 times daily with a portable meter. The best times are when you get up or before breakfast, 2 hours after breakfast, 2 hours after lunch, and sometime before going to sleep. The overnight reading when you first awaken tells you and your doctor one thing, and those 2 hours after eating tests provide other benchmarks. You can look at home testing as a hassle or an opportunity. It is your choice. Yes, you will have to prick your fingertips and draw a bit of blood each time. Yes, you will have to remember to do the testing, although some meters have alarms, and take the time out of a busy day or vacation to keep up your 4 daily screenings. But there is a major payoff to all this metering and monitoring. You will be in better control of your blood glucose by knowing your own biopattern, such as how different foods or activities affect you, what supports your wellness, and what hinders it. For example, you might find adding cold water fish, such as salmon, to your meals can lower blood glucose readings, even when all other carbohydrates and foods are the same. Or you might note your blood sugar fluctuations based on a good night's sleep versus a fitful one. A lifestyle note. Many of today's home blood glucose meters are easily carried along for your days and nights away from home. You certainly will not have to feel limited to testing only at home. Today's models are smaller, faster, and easier to use. Okay, one more lifestyle note, but only if you promise not to take shortcuts. Many ardent testers with type 2 or prediabetes find that a year or so of 4 times daily testing gives them deep insight into their blood glucose patterns. They find they do not have to test as many times per day, or might even do the 4-a-day testing every other day or every few days. They work a bit by intuition and body awareness. But remember, This is an earned status. Your optimal health is in the balance. Here is how a typical meter works. You prick your finger with a small sharp needle called a lancet, then put the resulting drop of blood on a test strip. The chemical coating on the strip, glucose oxidate, dehydrogenase, hexokinase, will react with the glucose in your blood for a reliable reading on your meter's LCD screen. The whole process usually takes less than 30 seconds. There is a wide range of choices for your meter. You can buy one the right size for your desired mobility, or maybe find one that interacts with your laptop, desktop computer, for even finer analyses of your blood sugar patterns. One important common feature is making sure your meter allows you to check its calibration on a regular basis. Some physicians encourage their patients to bring their meters to office visits to further check whether the home test matches up with doctor's results. Cleaning your meter helps ensure accurate results, and you want to always make sure any additional test strips with your purchase match up with the right code for your meter. Keeping your strips in the closed container helps avoid light, heat, or moisture damage. There is a growing number of home test products that allow either more continuous blood glucose monitoring, less invasive readings, translation, no finger pricking, or both. Continuous monitors can provide highly detailed data over 3 days, providing nearly 300 readings every 24 hours. These systems typically use a mini sensor implanted under the skin in the abdomen and held down by a piece of tape. You can push a button to indicate when you used medications, ate food, or exercised. Doctors use the 3-day data to adjust medicine doses. The GlucoWatch is a product that picks up blood glucose readings every 20 minutes by testing moisture from the skin on your wrist. Test methodology is an electrical current you do not feel at all. The device works 12 hours at a time and is not intended to replace finger prick test, since accuracy can vary and the testing process does irritate some people's skin. You will get the best results at the lowest cost with a finger prick meter. And if you wonder, why always the finger and not, say, the thigh or arm? It is because the blood in the fingertips turns over more quickly than almost any other place in the body. You get the most accurate tests, especially if you are gauging how food or physical activity affects your blood sugar. Carbohydrate counting. One of the best and most important tools you will learn and use will be counting carbohydrates. Carbohydrate counting is a useful method of controlling one's intake of foods, and especially relevant for persons with diabetes and those who are at risk for diabetes. It is an important tool of diabetes management, and its approach to meal planning is flexible. Carbohydrate counting revolves around foods containing larger amounts of carbohydrates and aims at planning meals in such a way that blood sugar remains within normal ranges. Some foods have higher carbohydrate contents than other foods. Examples of foods that are rich in carbohydrates are foods made of grains such as bread, pasta, and cereals, vegetables and fruits, particularly root vegetables such as potatoes, sweet potatoes, and yams, all alcoholic beverages such as beer and wine, desserts and candies, and most milk products except cheese. Some foods may be nutrient-dense, while some may be low in nutrients. Foods prepared from whole grains, legumes, milk products, except cheese, and fruits and vegetables are examples of nutrient-dense carb foods. Low nutrients foods include table sugar, candies, beverages containing alcohol, fast foods, and frozen meals. The carbohydrates in the foods we eat have a large impact on the level of our blood sugar. Diets containing complex carbohydrates, sometimes simply called complex carbs, generally result in good and healthy nutrition. Examples of complex carb foods are vegetables, fruits, root crops, and whole grains. On the other hand, diets with high fat content may result in weight gain or even obesity, insulin resistance, or high blood sugar levels, all of which can lead to many health complications. Consumption of carbohydrates should be balanced with regular exercise and a healthy body weight to keep the level of blood sugar within normal range. For most, this will mean cutting back on carbohydrate intake, eating healthy, and getting an appropriate amount of exercise. Carb counting basics. Yes, carb counting involves some math skills. However, once you have mastered it, you will notice yourself counting carbs in your head all the time. Daily calorie intake. As a person with diabetes or pre-diabetes, you should be on a 1,600 to 1,800 calorie diet. Are you? We have all heard of the food pyramid. We have all learned it, and we all know how to use it. However, the food pyramid is no longer in use by the diabetes community. The plate method is now recommended for managing diabetes and your weight. Try these simple steps of the plate as a method and see ours at www.bartpub.com/plate to guide your selections. 1. Imagine a line running just below the center of your plate. Now, imagine another line running perpendicular to the first one to the top of the plate, and 2 more lines angled down from the center. You should now have 5 sections on your plate. 2. Fill one of the largest sections with non-starchy vegetables such as spinach, carrots, lettuce, greens, cabbage, bok choy, green beans, broccoli, cauliflower, tomatoes, salsa, cucumber, beets, okra, mushrooms, peppers and turnips. Veggies should consist of 35 to 40% of your plate. Fill the other largest section with protein and fats. This can include grass-fed beef, free-range chicken, eggs, wild fish, pork, sparingly, beans, legumes, and healthy fats such as olive oil and coconut oil. These additions to your plate should be 35 to 40% of your diet. In one of the small sections, put whole grains such as brown rice, quinoa, whole rye, spelt, couscous, and buckwheat. Whole grains should only consist of 5 to 15% of the food on your plate. On the other small section, put fruits like apples, grapefruit, oranges, peaches, dates, pears, prunes, tomatoes, avocados, pomegranates, etc. Make sensible low-glycemic fruit choices such as these. Fruits, believe it or not, should only be 5 to 10% of your diet. In the last small section, add dairy choices, cheese, raw milk, unsweetened yogurt, cream, and organic butter. Dairy can take up to 10% of your nutrition intake. Here is another way to look at calorie intake. Each grain of carbohydrate provides 4 calories. A diabetic on a 1,600 calorie diet should get 30% of these calories from carbohydrate. This would be a total of 800 calories, or 200 grams of carbohydrates at 4 calories per gram spread out over the day. At 15 grams per exchange, that would be about 13 exchanges of carbohydrates per day. In order to jumpstart your reversal, you will be cutting the number of carbohydrates in your diet to 1/10 of what we described as typical in the previous paragraph. What can you do to start your reversal today? Let's dig into what you can do to reverse diabetes symptoms. We will start with food and diet. Remember, diet does not have to be just a 4-letter word. The Diabetes Solutions Kit will present what you can do, action steps for exercise and physical activity, as well as herbal remedies in the following sections. What you can do, food and diet. You know the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Guide Pyramid chart? No, not the one that previously recommended we eat 6 to 11 servings of grains, bread, cereals, pasta, rice each day. That one was so potentially counterproductive to reversing type 2 diabetes. One shudders to recall it. Even so, the new Food Guide Pyramid tool, which the USDA calls My Pyramid, still recommends 6 servings or 6 ounces of grains each day. That's fine if you are not diagnosed with prediabetes or type 2, or have neither and would like to stay that way. Oh, the new pyramid suggests at least half your daily grain servings be whole grain, but even a slice of whole wheat bread, 1 ounce or 1 serving, is about 80% starch. Starch converts to glucose rapidly once it mixes with saliva. It does not even have to travel to your stomach. It goes right into the bloodstream. In fact, starch converts to glucose even faster than table sugar or sucrose, which is part glucose and part fructose. It makes a stop in the liver to become glucose, thereby slowing down the digestion of that spoonful of sugar. Starch is the primary carbohydrate in bread, rice, pasta, and other foods in which flour is a main ingredient. These foods will not be slashed from your life as part of the Diabetes Solution Kit, but honestly, you will benefit from greatly limiting them in the early weeks of your reversal. Carbohydrates in general will be scarce in your first few weeks of meals, though you may miss them less than you think. When those carbs return to the table, going with whole grains is the healthy option, especially to continue protecting your newfound steady blood sugar body from other diseases, such as cancer and heart disease. The Diabetes Reversal Eating Plan is based on cutting-edge research and what is working for people living their lives. It is important the plan fits into your life. No eating plan or diet works if it cannot be sustained. Let's talk a moment about the power of foods. The eating plan outlined below might well reduce your blood sugar levels in weeks, maybe even days in some cases. You will want to communicate that potent possibility with your health practitioner if you are already taking type 2 diabetes medications. If you lower your blood sugar naturally, you could end up taking a medication that either unnecessarily regulates high blood sugar or overloads your body with insulin. This eating plan has an introductory phase, phase 1, aimed at getting your blood sugar levels back in normal levels and out of the pre-diabetes or type 2 range. The second phase is about reintroducing certain favorite foods and meals back into your life, making sure your glucose levels do not rise or adjusting if they do. A third phase is designed to keep your blood sugar readings at normal to optimal for life. Here is a detailed look at the 3 phases, followed by practical living notes about each phase. Be prepared. Your diabetes or pre-diabetes is about to take a U-turn. As a side note, the Fat Loss Remedy is an excellent resource that will give you more ideas for getting to and maintaining a healthy weight. You can find it at www.fatlossremedy.com. Phase 1. Jumpstart your reversal. Note for type 1 diabetics, Phase 1 and Phase 2 are geared more for type 2 diabetics and anyone with pre-diabetes. If you are a type 1 diabetic, read through the next 2 phases. There is some great information you can take along with you. You should then start your long-term diabetes management strategies with Phase 3. Time frame. How long this phase lasts is up to you and your body's insulin resistance. It will likely be 2 to 4 weeks. In a few cases, it may take a little longer. What you eat. The early weeks of reversing your diabetes systems will be heavy on healthful proteins and fats, discussed below. In contrast, you will be greatly restricting carbohydrates to put the jump in jump-starting your way to a lower blood sugar level, and less or no medication if that is an issue. We will start with the carb counting. Goal: get your fasting blood sugar level under 100 milligrams per deciliter in a test at your doctor's office. Choose 20 grams of low glycemic index carbohydrates per day. Is a low-carb diet safe for diabetics? Most professionals do not want people to lower their blood sugar with diet, the very thing they are trying to do with drugs. Starting with an extremely low-carb diet will help jumpstart your long-term diabetes strategies. However, please discuss your intentions with your doctor. Let him know what you are planning. If you are currently on medications to treat your type 2 diabetes, discuss safe ways to get off them. Typically, your blood sugar levels will not dip too low in these next 2 phases. It is not the diet that makes them go too low. It is the drugs. Note, in some cases, you may go low. This would typically be due to exercising. If you are going low, you may feel dizzy, sluggish, or shaky. If you feel these symptoms, please test your blood sugar level. If it is low, you can safely raise your sugar level by drinking an 8-ounce glass of orange juice or milk. Isn't it odd that professionals who know don't want people to lower their blood sugar with diet, the very thing they are trying to do with drugs? I always start with an extremely low-carb diet, but I immediately take them off the drugs. Never has anyone ever gone too low. It won't happen. It's not the diet that makes them go too low. It's the drugs. Dr. Scott. Before you begin, take note of the carbohydrates and fats you have eaten daily in the past week. If you do not know that, look at what you have eaten yesterday and today. What have you eaten in the past 2 days? What was the breakdown of the carbs, starch, sweets, vegetables, fruits? What was your total calorie intake per day? What times did you eat? Breakfast, lunch, dinner? How many meals or snacks do you typically have per day? Look at what you have put down in the provided slots. You will now see a picture of what you eat daily. Are you eating too many calories, too many carbohydrates, fats, not enough fruits and vegetables, too many processed meals? Now let's focus on cutting those back and eating to promote a healthy diabetes management program. Remember, you have a greater risk of complications and other dangerous side effects if you do not adjust your diet. You have much more important things going on than just eating to satisfy your hunger. You are eating for a better, longer, diabetes-free life. Choose 20 grams of low glycemic index carbohydrates per day. For the most part, you want vegetables to make up most of the 20 grams. There is some room for fruit too, but keep it to the varieties listed in the next section. Here is a detailed list of low-carb veggies that amount to 1 to 3 grams of carbohydrates for every serving, half cup to a cup. Lettuce greens, chard, collard, mustard greens, kale, sauerkraut, cauliflower, avocado, Brussels sprouts, peppers, eggplant, artichoke hearts, pickles made with no added sugars, onions, snow peas, spinach, cabbage, broccoli, celery, asparagus, scallions, tomatoes, green beans, cucumbers, carrots, fennel. There are a few low-carb fruits that will work effectively in this jumpstart phase, including raspberries, blackberries, and cranberries. A number of fruits that will be reintroduced in Phase 2 would be best eliminated for now, including apples, strawberries, blueberries, papaya, watermelon, cantaloupe, oranges, peaches, nectarines, apricots, and grapefruit. All these fruits will likely be staples of your reversal for a lifetime eating plan. But until your blood sugar gets below 100 milligrams per deciliter, the smart strategy is to pass them up at the market. The two other macronutrients in all human diets, of course, are proteins and fats. Once you determine how to eat your vegetables and fruits in the 20-gram daily range, the next step is to eat proteins and fats to help even out the blood sugars and fuel your body. Eat proteins and selected fats until you feel satisfied, but not stuffed or so full you go straight to the sofa. The proper portion of protein would be almost the size of a deck of cards. It is important to remember that depending on the protein you eat, your body may still convert it into glucose. Some types of seafood, such as shellfish, have a higher level of carbohydrates. While some people with type 2 diabetes have made huge health strides while eating up to 4 eggs per meal or well-marbled steaks each night, the Diabetes Solution Kit takes more of a measured approach. Sure, go ahead and eat beef, pork, and other meats. Just be sure the meat source is pastured or grass-fed animals. If you cannot buy grass-fed meat year-round, although it is almost a staple at most farmers' markets these days, and you can likely convince your local stores to carry it because other customers always emerge, make efforts to freeze it. It is important enough to make the effort and pay more when necessary. This not only eliminates potential toxins associated with conventional meat producers, associated with conventional meat practices, it also boosts your body with more omega-3 fats. Omega-3 fats are healthy fats, more often associated with fish and flax. When animals graze, they are consuming an omega-3 fat known as alpha-linolenic acid, or LNA, that, like other omega-3s, is known to protect against heart disease and believed to reduce insulin resistance, so you can have your steak and heart health too. Remember to watch the amount and types of proteins you eat. Proteins take longer to convert into glucose than starches. but still will affect levels later. As always, do not eat proteins in excess, and be sure to eat the leanest meats available. There are plenty of other proteins in this jumpstart phase. Free range, organic poultry. Do your homework to be sure your brand is not a wolfish corporation in the chicken coop. Fatty or cold water fish, such as salmon, sardines, mackerel, and anchovies. Tofu, eggs. Buy organic and with extra omega-3 from what chickens are usually fed. Red kidney beans and black soybeans. Healthy fats can greatly support your mission to get blood sugar levels below 100 milligrams per deciliter. Plus, they make your meals and recipes more tasty and satisfying. Along with the aforementioned omega-3 fats in fish and pastured meat, other go-to fats for the first phase of reversing your diabetes symptoms are cold-pressed oils, including extra virgin olive oil, walnut oil, sesame oil, and avocado oil. It seems hard to limit your body's carbohydrate intake to such a seemingly low amount, but there are foods out there that have little impact on glucose levels in the body. Below is a list of free foods recognized by the Diabetes Association of America. These foods are considered free because they have less than 20 calories and 5 grams or less carbohydrates. Drinks: natural chicken broth, seltzer water, coffee or tea, homemade vitamin water. Sweet substitutes: maple syrup, fruit sweetened jam or jelly, 2 tablespoons. Vegetables: celery, cucumbers, peppers, hot chilies, salad greens, cilantro, onions, radishes, sugar-free salsa, mustard greens. Condiments: ginger root, vinegar, unsweetened, ketchup, 1 tablespoon, dill pickles, unsweetened, horseradish, mustard, taco sauce, 2 tablespoons, sugar substitutes, stevia, lohan, sweet fiber, salad dressing, low calorie, 2 tablespoons, hot sauce. Note about caffeine. Caffeine will affect blood sugar levels, so be cautious about the amount of caffeine you take in throughout the day. Note about sugar-free substitutes. These items are listed here only because they may be used occasionally to satisfy an individual's craving. It is suggested to stay away from anything that says sugar-free. In most cases, these types of foods are packed with carbohydrates. When shopping for low-sugar items, look at the carb content, not just the sugar content. You will also want to consider the warning about certain sugar substitutes below. The sweetener dilemma. Remember, the problems of type 2 diabetes are caused by too much insulin. Sugar is not the problem, insulin is. Insulin is released by the pancreas whenever we eat anything sweet, even if it has no calories at all. It is therefore essential that you avoid sweet-tasting things, including fruit, especially dried fruit, and artificial sweeteners during phase 1 of your treatment. When considering sweeteners, currently, there are 4 major categories: natural, artificial, sugar alcohols, and novel or new sweeteners. Below are examples that fall into each of the 4 categories. All the sweeteners listed have been approved by the FDA, but that doesn't mean they are healthy or fair game for the diabetic. Natural sweeteners: white table sugar, sugar in the raw, honey, agave syrup, maple syrup, fructose, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, etc. Natural does not mean these are not processed, but merely that they are derived from natural sources. Artificial sweeteners: aspartame, NutraSweet and Equal, sucralose, Splenda, saccharin, Sweet and Low, etc. Sugar alcohols: sorbitol, xylitol, maltitol, mannitol, erythritol, lactitol, etc. By the way, these sweeteners do not contain alcohol. Novel or new: stevia extracts, tagatose, trechalose, and sweet fiber. In this complex milieu of sweeteners, there are a few simple things to keep in mind. 1. How many carbohydrates does this sweetener have? 2. What is the glycemic index of the sweetener? Or how will this sweetener impact my blood glucose levels? 3. What other health factors should I consider before using this sweetener? When shopping for food, disregard manufacturers' claims when it comes to sugar. Instead, read the nutritional label to determine what each food actually contains. Sometimes sweeteners are put into foods that are not sweet, such as soups, sauces, and salad dressings. The FDA allows some sweeteners to be used without even having them listed on the label. Let's just say that the less you consume, the better. If you make the food yourself, instead of buying prepared foods or going to a restaurant, you will know what's in it and can avoid these diet killers altogether. In terms of carbohydrates, the natural sweeteners have the highest number of carbs of any of the sweeteners. However, even these are not all the same. White sugar has about 4 grams of carbs per teaspoon, whereas honey has 5 grams of carbs per teaspoon. But honey is sweeter than sugar, so you can get by with less. Sugar alcohol sweeteners and novel sweeteners generally have about half or fewer the number of carbs as natural sweeteners. Artificial or chemical sweeteners typically contain no carbohydrates. The glycemic index, or the effect of a sweetener on raising blood sugar levels, follows a similar pattern to that of carb counting. The natural sweeteners rank highest on the glycemic index, but vary among themselves. For instance, although white sugar and maple syrup have about the same carb count, white sugar has a glycemic index of 80, while maple syrup tops out at 54. In other words, maple syrup will typically be processed more slowly by the body than table sugar. The glycemic index of the sugar alcohols is generally very low, between 1 and 12. Stevia is not a pure and natural product, but is highly processed and usually combined with sugar alcohols, as is sweet fiber. So what other factors should we consider when using the various sweeteners? First of all, whether diabetic or not, the majority of us need to cut back significantly on our sugar, sweetener consumption. We're way out of balance in this regard, and neither sugar nor its substitutes offer any nutritional value to our diet. Second, many people have wondered why they were not able to bring their blood sugar down or lose weight in spite of following the carb restrictions faithfully. Most often, this is because of the insulin-inducing effects of artificial sweeteners. Third, artificial sweeteners should be removed from your diet immediately. Over 75% of the adverse reactions to food additives reported to the FDA come from aspartame. Aside from preventing your return to wellness, artificial sweeteners can create other health problems. Below is a list of some of the potential dangers associated with common sugar substitutes, such as aspartame and sucralose. Weight gain, risk of cancer, irreversible cell damage, multiple sclerosis, lupus, fibromyalgia and other central nervous disorders, skin rashes, flushing, panic-like agitation, dizziness and numbness, diarrhea, muscle aches, headaches, intestinal cramping, bladder issues, stomach pain. Some sugar substitutes are not unhealthy for the body. Since those with type 1 diabetes do not make insulin in the pancreas, they may use sugar substitutes to keep their blood sugar down. They have control over their insulin because they inject it. This is why people with diabetes are often told to use sweeteners such as stevia or the alcohol sugars like mannitol, xylitol, or sorbitol. These are mostly fine for those with type 1 diabetes. However, for type 2 diabetes, it is essential to avoid even these sugar substitutes. There are taste buds in the intestines that regulate the release of insulin, and anything that has a sweet taste will trigger more insulin, causing you to hold on to fat and make more of it, as well as increasing your resistance to insulin. In the final analysis, we recommend that you dramatically cut back on your sugar intake. Be careful about using sugar substitutes. Avoid artificial sweeteners altogether. Listen to your body and know your body's unique reactions to various sweeteners. Learn to read your blood glucose levels and understand what makes them spike and what keeps them at normal levels. And then live accordingly. Diabetes superfoods, coconut oil, nuts, white red wine vinegar. Another good fat that might surprise you is fresh coconut and coconut oil. There is practically an underground movement to promote coconut oil as the missing link in reversing disease among diabetes patients and natural practitioners. Dr. Bruce Fife, a naturopathic physician who authored an intriguing book, The Healing Miracles of Coconut Oil says anyone diagnosed with prediabetes or diabetes can consume coconut oil without fear and will not gain weight from its fat content, despite what most nutritionists would say about it. Not only does coconut oil not contribute to diabetes, Dr. Fife writes, it helps regulate blood sugar, thus lessening the effects of the disease. The Nauru people of the South Pacific consumed large amounts of coconut oil for generations without ever encountering diabetes. When they abandoned it for other foods and oils, the results were disastrous. Coconut oil puts less of a demand on the enzymes production of the pancreas. This reduces the stress on the pancreas during mealtime, when insulin is produced most heavily, thus allowing the organs to function more efficiently. Dr. Fife also points out that the Journal of Indian Medical Association published a study about the sharp rise in type 2 diabetes in India. The study indicated that abandoning traditional cooking oils, such as coconut oil, in favor of polyunsaturated vegetable oils has led to an unhealthy shift in the Asian country. Cold-pressed extra virgin coconut oil is typically a solid at room temperature. You can use it as cooking oil or even to replace butter and margarine as a spread. The optimal amount of coconut oil per day for diabetes reversal is 3 to 4 tablespoons, but spread out over 2 to 3 meals or snack times. Some foods are what you might consider nature's perfect combination of protein and fats, with little or no carbs. Tree nuts and peanuts are a good example. Nuts in moderate servings, a medium handful, or about 10 to 12 almonds, can help reverse diabetes symptoms by bringing a nutrient-packed 1-2 punch of protein and healthy fats. A big plus, nuts are a perfect carry-with-you snack. If you have long believed nuts are fatty and unhealthy, wipe that from your mind and begin utilizing these plant powerhouses for reversing your diabetes. Just keep that serving to a medium handful, or 1 ounce. Research bears out this healthy appreciation for nuts. For instance, a 2002 Harvard University study showed that women who ate at least 5 ounces of peanuts and peanut butter per week reduced their risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 21% more than women who rarely or never ate peanuts and peanut butter. What is more, the same study, conducted by the highly regarded Frank Hu of Harvard School of Public Health, determined that women who regularly ate almonds, walnuts, pecans, pistachios, cashews, and other tree nuts cut their type 2 risk 27% more compared to females who rarely, if ever, ate them. That is 5 delicious crunchy handfuls of nuts per week to protect against diabetes or any reoccurrence after you reverse the symptoms. How can you resist? Well, many Americans do. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that the typical American eats only a 1/4 ounce of tree nuts and 2.5 ounces of peanuts, mostly peanut butter, per week. There is more. Hu and his Harvard associates anticipated that people would be stuck on the fat content of nuts, especially the potential to put on pounds. The study's data came from an ongoing study of some 80,000 nurses over 16 years. What the researchers' analysis revealed is that there was no correlation between nut consumption and weight gain. And get this, the women who ate more nuts weighed slightly less and had lower body mass index numbers on average. Just how nuts positively affect insulin resistance has not been discovered in the lab. But we do know nuts are high in fiber and magnesium. They also rate low on the glycemic index, which is a good thing, as we will learn in Phase 2, reintroducing carbohydrates to your meals. Here is a list of some of the most beneficial nuts for prediabetes and type 2, with carb counts per serving size, 2 tablespoons. This will help you determine how to fit them into your meals and snacks in the first phase. Type of nut, grams of carbs. Almonds, 1.4 grams. Cashews, 5 grams. Coconut, 0.7 grams. Hazelnuts, 1.2 grams. Macadamia nuts, 0.9 grams. Peanut butter, 4.3 grams. Peanuts, 1.8 grams. Pecans, 0.6 grams. Pine nuts, 1.7 grams. Pistachios, 3.1 grams. Walnuts, 1.1 grams. A few quick notes about nuts. Eat them raw for the optimal diabetes reversal. Dry roasted would be the next best option. The dry roasting process is superior to oil roasting, which introduces the possibility of partially hydrogenated oils or trans fat. Some natural health doctors and researchers have come to believe that trans fat might be a major contributor to the diabetes epidemic in this country. Speaking of trans fat, do not buy peanut butter with partially hydrogenated oil listed as an ingredient. Natural peanut butters are available in most stores and are very tasty. Be sure to buy a brand that does not add sugar to the peanuts, or you can mark peanut butter off the diabetes reversal list. You will find added sugar in most standard store-bought brands. Organic or raw peanut butters are the best options. You can usually recognize those types by the layer of oil at the top. Another superfood for the diabetes reversal plan is white or red wine vinegar with acetic acid as a primary ingredient. Natural remedies for diabetes. What you can do. Dietary and herbal supplements. Though dietary and herbal supplements might be natural, there are some inherent problems that can develop through their use. One is common. Individuals try a number of supplements at one time. So when something works, it is not clear which supplement is doing the job. That might be the case, but taking 5 things at once might lead you to overlook a correct dosage for your condition and keep you from identifying the best form of the supplement, capsule, tincture, etc. Another issue is whether you have given the supplement enough time to work in the body. We live in a fast-paced, instant gratification culture, but it can take months for some supplements to make a full and lasting impact. On the other hand, if you are following the other 3 key components of the diabetes reversal plan, 1. Being consistent about testing and consulting with your health practitioner. 2. Eating for reversal. And 3. Pursuing an exercise program that makes a difference, then supplements can act much quicker and more successfully. By taking these other diabetes reversal steps, you are putting yourself in the best position for the nutrients in dietary supplements and herbal remedies to work. When it comes to dietary and herbal supplements for diabetes and pre-diabetes, there are certainly plenty of choices. It is a disease culture that affects so many millions of people that natural health practitioners and researchers are searching out answers to the official American Diabetes Association's stance to take drugs first and address lifestyle and natural supplement options later. Of course, it was not encouraging to individuals diagnosed with diabetes to see media reports about the Food and Drug Administration demanding more scrutiny of the well-known type 2 diabetes medication, Avandia, which may have been putting patients at substantially greater risk for heart attacks and cardiovascular disease. Chromium. Chromium is an essential mineral that aids the body in producing energy from glucose. Chromium also increases the efficiency with which insulin transports glucose from the bloodstream into the body's cells. The standard American diet, rich in refined carbohydrates, promotes chromium loss, and it is common for diabetics to have lower chromium levels than healthy individuals. Dr. Furman, MD, Chromium, 2004-14. According to James A. Duke, PhD, an analysis of several studies found that in people with type 2 diabetes, chromium supplementation improved their levels of hemoglobin A1C, a common indicator of long-term blood sugar control, by 0.6%. Dr. Duke comments that this is a nice improvement since a 1% drop has been associated with a 20% lower risk of heart attack or stroke. Chromium does its work by making your body more sensitive to insulin, which then takes up glucose from your blood. James A. Duke, PhD, The Green Pharmacy Guide to Healing Foods. One important note, chromium picolinate could indeed lower your blood sugar counts in the first 3 months of trying it. Keep monitoring because combined with diabetic medications, chromium might lower your blood glucose too far. That is why your practitioner needs to know about your supplementation. That is also why you should get the initial hemoglobin A1C test. The research on chromium is particularly deep. Clinical trials show it can actually help diabetes prescription medications work better. Clinical studies indicate type 1 or type 2 diabetes patients taking chromium supplements may require lower doses of insulin, metformin, or sulfonylureas, a group of type 2 medications including glimepiride, glyburide, glipizide, and chlorpropamide. Yes, the medical mainstream and Big Pharma are interested. But chromium's synergistic effect is a huge plus for you too. If the medication works better, it follows that you can take less of it over time. And even better, those clinical trials of chromium picolinate shows the supplement helps 9 of every 10 volunteers improve glucose control. Some studies have focused strictly on pre-diabetes with similar positive results. What is more, some earlier work showed that type 2 diabetes patients tested low for chromium. What chromium appears to do is help insulin stick to cell walls so insulin receptors can take up glucose. Naturopathic medicine students learn in nutrition classes that most Americans are getting less chromium from their diets than 2 to 3 decades ago. We can get chromium in foods, but the high amount sources are limited to egg yolks, beef, and brewer's yeast. But even a regular diet of steak and eggs will not provide enough, especially for a therapeutic effect. It is important to take chromium picolinate because the body absorbs chromium best in this form. The brand most used in clinical trials is Chromax. The federal government recommends the typical adult gels, somewhere between 20 and 40 micrograms of chromium daily. The therapeutic dose for diabetic prevention and treatment is 200 micrograms of chromium, 1 to 3 times daily. Some clinical trials have used up to 1,000 micrograms daily, spread over 3 doses, but researchers do note the long-term safety at this high daily dosage level is not yet known. Pycnogenol. Pycnogenol is a registered trademark supplement derived from the bark of French maritime pine trees. The bark is rich in an antioxidant called oligomeric procyanidins, or OPCs. The OPCs appear to lower blood glucose and improves the structure and function of the body's small blood vessels, which, when exposed to chronic high blood sugar, can lead to such diabetes complications as vision loss, kidney damage, nerve damage, and amputation. A recent study revealed that the French maritime pine tree extract, known as pycnogenol, delays the uptake of glucose after a meal 190 times more effectively than prescription medications. The study demonstrated that the pine bark is more potent in suppressing carbohydrate absorption in diabetes than synthetic prescription inhibitors and prevents the typical high glucose peak in the bloodstream after a meal. Medical News Today. New study discovers how pycnogenol lowers blood glucose levels in type 2 diabetes. 2007. More than 180 studies, mostly European, about pycnogenol were completed in the last 4 decades. Findings were overwhelmingly positive in the supplement's ability to decrease high blood pressure, lower LDL or bad cholesterol, and control blood glucose without adversely affecting all important insulin levels. One specific plus, pycnogenol appeared to repair capillaries in the eyes, reducing or eliminating leakage into the retina. That unchecked could lead to major vision problems or blindness. Not surprisingly, pycnogenol is the leading prescription among doctors in France who are treating patients for this condition called diabetic retinopathy. The typical dose is 80 to 150 milligrams, split up into 2 or 3 doses. Pycnogenol has even been used as a localized topical treatment for diabetes ulcers or open sores. It seems it can greatly affect quality of life and decrease the likelihood of potential infection. In a small clinical trial, 30 subjects with diabetic ulcers were split into 4 groups. One group used standard medications each day. A second group took only pycnogenol tablets. Another applied 2 tablets crushed into a fine powder that were applied directly to the ulcerated skin, which was then wrapped. And the 4th group used both the powder application and oral dose. The resulting combination therapy allowed 89% of patients to completely heal in the first 6 weeks, compared to 85% for the oral pycnogenol dose, 50 milligrams 3 times a day, 84% for the local application, and a significantly less 61% for the standard medications. Another major advantage to this supplement, it has been shown in studies to lower high blood pressure. Anyone diagnosed with Syndrome X would likely benefit from trying pycnogenol, and it does not appear to hurt in any case. Research shows the optimal dose of pycnogenol for regulating blood sugar levels is 200 milligrams per day, split over 2 to 3 doses. If high blood pressure is a concern, discover other natural remedies like pycnogenol that can help. This free presentation reveals why high blood pressure drugs don't work and the natural method that does. www.bloodpressurenormalized.com/presentation.php. Alpha-lipoic acid. Much of diabetes cell damage is oxidative, which means that insulin resistance is working to remove electrons from molecules. It leaves unstable cells that do not process insulin appropriately, and the cells can become chronically inflamed. Alpha-lipoic acid counters the oxidation and restores insulin function. It does this, in part, by removing glucose from the system sooner and delivering it to cells. Alpha-lipoic acid is an approved diabetes treatment in Germany, a country highly advanced in therapeutic uses of dietary and herbal supplements. Most recent studies indicate alpha-lipoic acid hunts out and offsets the destructive action of maverick AGI, glycotoxin cells, that might be consumed from foods and long stored in the body. One of those AGE foods is barbecued meat, which is ironic since red meat is among the richest food sources of alpha-lipoic acid. It goes back again to cooking that meat at slow cook, low temperatures, rather than the grilling and charring that is on the rise in American homes and restaurants. The therapeutic dose for alpha-lipoic acid is up to 600 milligrams daily, based on research studies. The supplement is typically sold in 50 milligram tablets. Be sure to space your daily dose across 2 to 3 times per day. There are 2 basic forms of alpha-lipoic acid, R and S. Most products are equal parts of both forms. Some natural health practitioners prefer alpha-lipoic acid supplements with only R, or marked RDHLA, because the body naturally produces and uses the R form. If you find an RDHLA product, the proper dose is 150 to 300 milligrams per day. Calcium and vitamin D. This supplement pairing might seem pedestrian or sound like a promotional message touting milk. Yet major studies show vitamin D can boost those beta cells in the pancreas that are under constant siege during diabetes. It is also a growing belief among researchers that vitamin D might be able to reduce incidence of type 1 diabetes if taken as a supplement, even as infants and toddlers. A Tufts University study found that combining calcium, 500 milligrams daily, and vitamin D, 700 IU daily, can dramatically curtail the seemingly inevitable rise in blood sugar levels among people 65 and older who have been diagnosed with prediabetes. The study followed its subjects for 3 years. That 500-700 is a therapeutic dose worth pursuing for your diabetes symptoms. If it means anything to you, and the view here is yes, it should, many researchers and diabetes experts are taking significant doses of vitamin D daily. They anticipate the vitamin D connection to diabetes and Syndrome X prevention will only grow stronger in the next decade. See the next section about taking magnesium with your calcium-vitamin D combo. Magnesium. Magnesium is a fundamental mineral the body uses for about 300 different biochemical reactions in the body. For starters, it helps regulate blood sugar levels, muscle and nerve function, heart rhythm, blood pressure, immune function, and bone health. Research seems to indicate that low magnesium levels in the blood may worsen glucose control among type 2 and pre-diabetic individuals. Better yet, follow-up studies show that a 16-week course of magnesium improved insulin function and lowered blood sugar levels. Judging from these studies, it is plausible that many Americans are not getting enough magnesium in their diets and putting themselves at risk for type 2 diabetes. One important fact, along with glucose, the hormone insulin also stores magnesium in cells, but insulin resistance results in a loss of magnesium and misfiring of all those vital processes in which magnesium is involved. And there is a bonus. Studies show magnesium supplements can help knock down high blood pressure, which is a common companion symptom for anyone with type 2 prediabetes or Syndrome X. You can boost your magnesium by eating such foods as leafy greens, nuts, and seeds. Supplementation is a good idea, though you need to know high doses can cause diarrhea, nausea, low blood pressure, and other negative effects, so it is not a more is better proposition. Magnesium supplementation can counteract medications for osteoporosis, blood pressure, and antibiotics. So even though magnesium is a natural mineral and highly active in the body, be sure that your health practitioner knows you are supplementing with it. A therapeutic dose of magnesium is 350 to 500 milligrams per day. Just be aware of digestive upset. If you have any issues at 500 milligrams, drop down to the 350 milligram and split your dose for optimal results. It is best to take magnesium with a supplement that also has calcium and vitamin D for the ideal synergistic effect. Natural medicine practitioners believes the magnesium calcium D supplement helps the body switch to sleep mode. Not drowsy, just ready to go into standby of sorts. So you might be sure to take this healthy triple in the evenings. As mentioned, there are a number of foods with significant magnesium content. Here is a list of high magnesium foods with milligram values. Halibut cooked, 3 ounces, 90 milligrams. Almond, dry roasted, 1 ounce, 80 milligrams. Cashews, dry roasted, 1 ounce, 75 milligrams. Soybeans, mature, cooked, half cup, 75 milligrams. Spinach, frozen, cooked, half cup, 75 milligrams. Nuts, mixed, dry roasted, 1 ounce, 65 milligrams. Cereal, shredded wheat, 2 rectangular biscuits, 55 milligrams. Oatmeal, instant, fortified, prepared with water, 1 cup, 55 milligrams. Potato, baked with skin, 1 medium, 50 milligrams. Peanuts, dry roasted, 1 ounce, 50 milligrams. Peanut butter, smooth, 2 tablespoons, 50 milligrams. Wheat bran, crude, 2 tablespoons, 45 milligrams. Black-eyed peas, cooked, half cup, 45 milligrams. Yogurt, plain, skim milk, 8 fluid ounces, 45 milligrams. Bran flakes, 3/4 cup, 40 milligrams. Vegetarian baked beans, half cup, 40 milligrams. Rice, brown, long-grained, cooked, half cup, 40 milligrams. Lentils, mature seeds, cooked, half cup, 35 milligrams. Avocado, California, half cup, pureed, 35 milligrams. Kidney beans, canned, half cup, 35 milligrams. For more on how to keep your blood pressure numbers healthy, try out our Secrets for Real Change. www.bloodpressurenormalized.com/presentation.php. Cinnamon. There is no denying the healing potency of cinnamon. This common spice has been proven to help better metabolize glucose and avoid the free radical and oxidative damage to cells that occurs when blood sugar levels remain high. What is more, studies show cinnamon also lowers cholesterol, which means, of course, that it protects against heart disease and metabolic syndrome. It seems too good to be true that this delicious and familiar spice is a diabetes supernutrient. Research over the last 5 years validates such lofty status. One representative study divided subjects with type 2 diabetes into 6 groups. 3 groups took 1, 3, or 6 grams of cinnamon per day for 40 days. The other 3 groups took placebo capsules that matched up with the 1, 3, and 6 gram groups. At the end of the trial, all 3 groups taking cinnamon supplements significantly reduced blood glucose, triglycerides, LDL or bad cholesterol, and overall cholesterol. The placebo groups remained unchanged. The glucose and cardiovascular improvements increased as the cinnamon dose went up. Interestingly, the lowered glucose levels and triglycerides stayed low for 20 days before the end of the supplementation. It is difficult to add 6 grams of cinnamon to your daily diet. Plus, there are some researchers who have found that ingesting an overabundance of whole cinnamon might cause an adverse and unwanted reaction. Cinnamon has some insoluble solids that can lead to potential chromosome abnormalities and perhaps precancerous cells. You know those solids if you have ever tried to stir cinnamon into a hot cup of coffee or cider. There's some residue at the top. Yet the solids toxins issue is not as scary as it might sound. If you really insist on using your own cinnamon to reach 3 to 6 grams daily, natural health practitioners recommend using up to 1 gram in your food or drinks. Boil the rest of your cinnamon dose in water, pouring off the infused water and discarding those solids floating on top. Another option is to take a cinnamon supplement that has already done the boiling treatment for you. Look for a water-soluble extract standardized to 0.95% trimeric and tetrameric A-type polymers. Take 125 milligrams of the extract 3 times per day. And do not forget to sprinkle some cinnamon into your protein smoothie, onto your oatmeal, or even onto chicken or halibut. Acetyl L-carnitine. You might hear this supplement called simply carnitine. It is a derivative of 2 amino acids, lysine and methionine. It is involved in energy production in the body. Research indicates it helps reduce insulin resistance and fat content in muscle. Some holistic nutritionists include it on every client's supplement list because of the fat-burning quality. Specific to individuals with diabetes, a Wayne State University study showed that a dose of 500 to 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day significantly decreased pain associated with diabetic neuropathy. Plus, it appears to contribute to the regeneration of nerve cells damaged by high blood sugar levels. Animal studies show that carnitine might well reduce the effects of glycation and AGE, while cardiologists are excited about the supplement's potential for blunting the devastating effects of congestive heart failure. The preferred form of carnitine is acetyl L-carnitine. A therapeutic dose is up to 2,000 milligrams daily. Ginkgo biloba. While most often associated with enhancing memory, a 2006 study looked at subjects who took ginkgo in tandem with the diabetes drug metformin. The study, published in the journal Clinical Nutrition, found that the ginkgo dropped the diabetes biomarker hemoglobin A1C by 0.5 percentage point, which is significant given how the hemoglobin is measured. Please note, do not use ginkgo without medical supervision if you take Coumadin, warfarin, or other blood-thinning medicines. The herb acts as a natural blood-thinning agent. A therapeutic dose for diabetics is 40 to 80 milligrams 3 times a day, or up to 120 milligrams twice daily. You want to look for a standardized extract that contains 24% ginkgo flavoglycosides. Fenugreek seeds. Fenugreek seeds have long been used in both Ayurvedic, India, and traditional Chinese medical practices. In the last 2 decades, research has discovered and confirmed the seed's role in reducing blood glucose levels and decreasing the negative heart marker triglycerides. What is more, it appears to increase HDL, or good cholesterol. A therapeutic dose of roughly 2 grams daily has no toxic effects and has the recent research track record to potentially support your diabetes reversal. Gymnema sylvestre. This herb grows in Southeast Asia and is widely used in Australia, Japan, Vietnam, and India as a natural extract remedy for diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, and gout. Its saponin compounds help regulate blood sugar levels by interceding at the insulin receptor point. It also offers the expanded benefits of being a natural antibacterial and antiviral agent. Gymnema sylvestre research related to improvement of diabetes symptoms first showed up in Asian and European medical research about 75 years ago. Some of the most interesting recent work poses that the herb might actually help restore lost pancreatic function. As is the case with too many herbal remedies in the U.S., since no monopolistic patent could be obtained for Gymnema sylvestre, it has not received much attention from the American medical community. 2 doses of 260 milligrams daily, after breakfast and after dinner, is the suggested therapeutic dose. Benfotiamine. The little-known variation of vitamin B1 is turning researchers' heads for its ability to improve blood flow in type 2 diabetes patients. Benfotiamine appears to reduce oxidation associated with eating foods high in glucotoxins, or AGE. One big plus is that this special version of a B vitamin can reduce inflammation at the cellular and small blood vessel levels. Natural health practitioners are especially apt to recommend benfotiamine to patients at the highest risk for eye, kidney, or nerve complications caused by type 2 diabetes. An effective dose is 400 milligrams per day. Mulberry. Forget the song if you must, but do not wave off the mulberry bush. Research studies in China and Japan are portraying mulberry powder or mulberry leaf extract as inhibitors of enzymes that otherwise turn loose too much glucose in the blood. Food scientists are in agreement that the mulberry plant is medicinal. The challenge now is to develop a powder or extract that concentrates the enzyme inhibitor action in proper amounts. It seems some companies are getting close to solving this lab challenge, and that pre-diabetic and type 2 patients will be able to take advantage. One recent study published in the Diabetes Care Journal reported that a mulberry leaf extract reduced peak post-meal blood sugar spikes by 44% on average. We will update the Diabetes Solution Kit as more mulberry evidence emerges and a therapeutic dose becomes more clearly defined. Until then, do not hesitate to ask your health practitioner for the latest research update on mulberry. One suggested interim approach for mulberry is to purchase a mulberry leaf extract in a 30-to-1 concentrate, standardized to contain 2% moranoline content. Take 100 milligrams of the extract twice daily. Asian ginseng. There are several species of ginseng. For diabetes reversal, look for Asian ginseng, which is sometimes called Korean ginseng. Research, including a University of Toronto study, shows that a 3-month course of Asian ginseng, the daily amount split to take after each of 3 main meals, can significantly reduce blood glucose levels. The therapeutic dose is 200 milligrams of Asian ginseng extract, standardized to 4% ginsenosides. Be aware that ginseng at these dose levels can cause side effects, such as excitability or nervousness, which typically diminish after a few days. To that end, children and pregnant women should not use ginseng without a doctor's care. Fish oil, whey protein, zinc, and fiber. It is tempting to present an exhaustive list of dietary and herbal supplements for diabetes. So exhaustive that even those people with diabetes are, exhausted. But there are 4 more potential areas of supplementation that can yield big gains in the direction of reversing your diabetes. Here's the short version. Look for a reputable fish oil producer. Nordic Naturals is one example, and take the recommended dose each day. The omega-3 fats in fish oil protect against heart disease and appear to even out blood sugar peaks and valleys. Whey protein is the ideal ingredient for a smoothie because it is low in carbs and high on healthy protein. Studies show whey helps people lose weight by providing a well-balanced nutritional boost that also helps you feel full or satisfied. Most Americans veer toward being deficient in zinc. For anyone with type 2 diabetes, this can make it harder to reach normal to ideal blood sugar levels. A daily dose of 20 to 30 milligrams can represent a safety net of sorts for type 2 diabetes patients or people with prediabetes. As a bonus, zinc can also protect against prostate cancer in men. Food sources of zinc include fresh oysters, ginger root, lamb, pecans, split peas, egg yolk, rye, beef liver, lima beans, almonds, walnuts, sardines, chicken, and buckwheat. Last but not least, a fiber supplement could make a huge difference in your diabetes trajectory. For one thing, a fiber supplement covers any days when you just do not eat enough produce or whole grains. Most of us consume no more than 17 grams of fiber each day, on average, when 25 to 30 grams is the suggested maximum for health, and the argument could be made that diabetes patients would benefit from even higher amounts. Fiber controls diabetes by slowing digestion and keeping glucose from moving too quickly into the bloodstream. You probably also know it encourages regular bowel movements and helps curb appetite. Just do not go from 0 to 60 with either a fiber supplement or adding fiber-rich foods to your diet. Take it slow, gradually adding fiber to your daily count over a few weeks. As a result, you will stick to the plan more readily, and your body will accept the change. Natural medicines. While Western medicine has become the norm in many cultures, it is not the only treatment option. Conventional Western medicine, often called allopathic medicine, is the system of medicine taught at most medical schools, and most pharmaceutical and synthetic medicines are manufactured and marketed according to the principles of allopathic medicine. Allopathic medicine is also sometimes called orthodox medicine. Because most of us in the Western world have grown up in a society in which allopathic medicine is the prevailing norm, we forget that only a few decades ago, homeopathic, herbal, and other natural medicines were commonly available and freely used, even by conventional doctors. While there are often heated debates about which system of medicine is better than the other, many responsible doctors, whether they are allopathic or not, recognize that both have a role to play in the treatment program. Conventional doctors have often frowned upon natural medicine, especially those who have not had sufficient knowledge of these medicines. However, it is encouraging to note that some medical schools are now beginning to reintroduce it into their coursework, thereby providing doctors with a wider range of treatment options from which to choose. In many countries, especially in Europe, India, and China, natural and homeopathic medicines are commonly prescribed by conventional doctors and represent a significant part of the total annual drug sales. Naturopathy is a branch of medicine, just as allopathy is a branch of medicine, which operates according to the underlying philosophy that the body has an innate capacity to heal itself. While natural medicines are often called alternative or complementary medicines, they are, in fact, a unique and independent form of medicine in their own right, well able to treat a variety of conditions. Perhaps the term holistic medicine is more apt, given the broad range of treatment options and approaches found within the practice of natural medicine, which encompasses many different disciplines, including herbalism, homeopathy, iridology, osteopathy, chiropractic, therapeutic massage techniques, aromatherapy, acupuncture, and many, many more. Most naturopaths will use a variety of treatment modalities in order to treat their patients in a holistic way to support health, relieve symptoms, and prevent future disease. In fact, even the World Health Organization defines health as being more than simply the absence of illness. It is the active state of physical, emotional, mental, and social well-being. This is a wonderfully clear description of holistic or natural medicine, which strives to support health, thereby relieving or preventing symptoms, rather than simply eliminating disease. Although allopathic medicine certainly has a role to play and has made a tremendous contribution to medical science during the past century, there is a growing perception it is not the only answer, and that in many cases, holistic medicine can accomplish just as much, if not more, without the risk of side effects, addiction, and sacrifice to health so commonly associated with pharmaceutical drugs. Contrary to common perception, and provided they are manufactured in the correct way, natural medicines can work quickly and safely to promote healing. In many cases, they can succeed where pharmaceutical drugs have failed. Despite frequent reports that they are unproven and untested, the opposite is true. Natural medicines have a long history of usage, and there is a wealth of empirical evidence to support their effectiveness and safety. In addition, many academic hospitals and universities carry out active clinical research to support the extensive traditional and empirical evidence behind natural medicines. It is also important to know that, like any medicine, herbal and homeopathic medicines must be manufactured in the correct way, following acceptable procedures and manufacturing methods to ensure maximum effectiveness and safety. Due to the recent rise in popularity of natural remedies, many companies have sprung up to take advantage of the market. Unfortunately, not all of them are equipped to manufacture to the correct standards, often resulting in a flood of inferior and sometimes even unsafe remedies onto the market and giving natural remedies a bad name. Even some pharmaceutical companies have rushed to claim their market share by producing so-called standardized extracts of herbs and offering these as superior to the tried and tested methods of naturopathic manufacturing. Nothing could be further from the truth. While standardized extracts may offer the benefit of easy consistency of dosage and cheaper, more efficient production lines, they have grave disadvantages. These include an increase in side effects, as the medicines produced in this manner lose the natural protective properties of the herbs. In some cases, these side effects have proved fatal, as was seen in the liver toxicity associated with standardized extracts of kava kava, an herb used safely for generations without any known side effects. Most naturopaths recommend what is called the full-spectrum method of extraction, which retains the benefits of all the active ingredients within the herb, as opposed to isolating only one, thereby providing a more complete treatment as well as superior protection against side effects. Whatever your choice, always choose wisely. Research what is best for you. If you have a chronic or life-threatening condition, do not make changes without first discussing them with your doctor, so that he or she can monitor your condition. Well-informed and supportive practitioners will support patients who want to take responsibility for their own health. There is no magic bullet for preventing high blood sugar, but a smart diet can go a long way toward keeping it at a healthy level. These recipes are perfect for a blood sugar-friendly diet, low in carbs and calories. This is much more than a cookbook. It is a guide to eating healthy every day. Breakfast: delicious banana yogurt pancakes. Ingredients: 2 cups whole spelt flour, 1 packet sugar substitute, 1 tablespoon baking soda, 8 ounces unsweetened plain yogurt, 1 large, very ripe banana, mashed, ½ cup skim milk, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 4 egg whites, beaten to soft peaks, pasteurized or organic butter. Preparation: combine flour, sugar substitute, and baking soda in a large bowl. Stir to combine. Add yogurt, banana, milk, oil, and vanilla. Stir until just moistened. Gently fold in beaten egg whites to complete batter. Lightly coat a non-stick skillet with butter, working in batches and using a ladle. Make 4-inch pancakes. Cook until bottom is browned and bubbles come to the top of the cakes. Turn and continue to cook until brown. Keep warm while cooking the rest of the pancakes. Serve these with pure maple syrup or fresh berries. Healthy hot cereal. A healthy way to start the day off is with hot whole grain cereal. Use cinnamon and vanilla to create a delicious flavor and add the health benefits of cinnamon. Prep time: 20 minutes. Ingredients: 3 cups water, ½ teaspoon cinnamon, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 1 cup oats, rolled, raw, preferably organic. Preparation: place water in a pot and add cinnamon and vanilla. Bring water to a boil. Reduce heat to simmer. Add oats or whole grain cereal of choice and cook as directions indicate. Serve hot and enjoy the day. Per serving 80 calories, 14% calories from fat, 3 grams protein, 1 gram total fat, 14 grams carbohydrates, 0 cholesterol, 6 milligrams sodium. Makes 4 servings. Wild mushroom omelet. Ingredients: pasteurized or organic butter, 6 ounces wild mushrooms such as shiitake, portobello, chanterelles, etc., or button mushrooms, or a combination of 2 or more kinds, thinly sliced. 2 scallions, white part only, thinly sliced. A 1/4 teaspoon herbs such as oregano, basil, or dill. 1 tablespoon chopped fresh flat leaf parsley. Freshly ground pepper. 8 ounces liquid egg substitute. 2 sprigs fresh flat leaf parsley for garnish. Preparation: heat small amount of butter in skillet or omelet pan for a minute. Add mushrooms and scallions. Cook over high heat until mushrooms are just cooked through, stirring. Add fine herbs, parsley, and pepper. Remove from heat and keep warm. Using the same small skillet, add a little butter. Add half the egg substitute. Cook over medium heat, lifting sides of eggs to allow uncooked eggs to flow under. Once the bottom is lightly browned, carefully flip omelet to brown the other side, using a slotted spoon to drain off any liquid. Spoon half the mushroom mixture onto omelet and fold in half. Transfer omelet to warmed plate and keep warm. Repeat procedure, making the second omelet. Place a sprig of parsley on each omelet. Canadian bacon and herb omelet. Ingredients: 3 eggs, 1 ounce cheese, 1 tablespoon fresh parsley, 1 tablespoon fresh basil, pinch salt and pepper, 1 tablespoon coconut oil or olive oil, 2 slices Canadian bacon. Preparation: coat large skillet, preferably non-stick, with cooking coconut oil or olive oil and place over medium heat. In a bowl, mix together eggs, herbs, and season with salt and pepper. Pour egg mixture into skillet. Cover pan and cook over low heat until eggs are cooked and puffy, 4 to 6 minutes. Total net carbs, 4 grams. Salads. Curried chicken salad with red grapes in wonton cups. Ingredients: 12 wonton wrappers, 1 cup finely diced cooked boneless skinless chicken breast, antibiotic-free, chilled. 1/4 cup unsweetened yogurt, 1 tablespoon mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon mango chutney, 1 teaspoon hot madras curry powder, 1/4 teaspoon sea salt or more to taste, 3 tablespoons diced celery, 1/2 cup seedless red grapes, thinly sliced horizontally, 2 teaspoons minced fresh cilantro. Preparation: preheat oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Coat a non-stick mini muffin tin with natural butter and press a wonton square into each cup of the tin, forming a wonton cup. Lightly coat wonton cups with cooking spray and bake 12 minutes or until golden brown. Remove from oven and let cool in pan. Meanwhile, in a medium bowl, stir together chicken, yogurt, mayonnaise, chutney, curry powder, and salt. Add celery, grapes, and cilantro and stir. With a spoon, stuff about 2 tablespoons of the salad into each wonton cup. Garnish each with a tiny sprig of cilantro or red grape sliver, if desired. Serves 4. Serving size, 3 wonton cups. Quick and easy chicken salad. 2 cups lettuce, iceberg. 2 tomato slices. 3 slices cucumber. 1 scallion. Sliced chicken breast. Low-fat cheese, optional. 1½ tablespoons olive oil. 1½ teaspoons vinegar, red or white. 1/2 pinch parsley, pinch dillweed. Slice small tomato into 6 slices. A medium cucumber into 10 equal slices, and dice scallion. Add ingredients together in a bowl. Add salt and pepper to taste. Total net carbs, 7 grams. Wild rice salad. 1½ cups raw wild rice, washed. 6 cups of water. 4 tablespoons olive oil. 1 pound orzo. 3 tablespoons fresh lemon juice. 6 scallions. White part and 2 inches green, chopped. 1/2 teaspoon kosher salt, optional. Freshly grated pepper. 1/2 cup toasted slivered almonds. In a large pot, combine rice with water and simmer, covered, 40 to 45 minutes. Drain rice well and transfer to a large salad bowl. Toss with half of oil. In a large pot, cook orzo in boiling water until al dente. Drain and add to rice. Drizzle with rest of oil and lemon juice. Add scallions. Can be made to this point and refrigerated 1 day before using. Just before serving, season with salt, if using, and pepper and stir in almonds. Per 1/2 cup serving, 144 calories. Makes 24 servings. Fusilli salad with grilled seafood and vegetables. Olive oil cooking spray. 1/2 pound large shrimp, peeled and deveined. 1/2 pound sea scallops. 1 pound broccoli florets. 8 ounce fusilli or other corkscrew pasta. 2 pounds vine-ripened tomatoes, peeled and seeded, diced. 1/4 cup white wine vinegar. 1/2 teaspoon grated lemon rind. 1 clove garlic, minced. 1/2 teaspoon sugar. 3 tablespoons flat leaf parsley, chopped. 1 tablespoon fresh thyme leaves. 1/4 teaspoon kosher salt, optional. Fresh pepper to taste. 2 tablespoons olive oil. Lettuce cups. Extra thyme or parsley for garnish. Preparation: coat a rigid skillet with cooking spray. Grill seafood over high heat until done. About 2 minutes for shrimp, about 3 minutes for scallops, depending on size. You may also grill over coals. Refrigerate until ready to assemble. Blanch broccoli in lightly salted boiling water until crisp cooked. Drain under cold water to stop cooking. Refrigerate. In the same water, cook pasta according to package directions until cooked al dente. Drain and place in serving bowl. Add tomatoes, vinegar, lemon zest, garlic, sugar, parsley, thyme, salt if using, and pepper and reserved broccoli. Toss to coat. Just before serving, add olive oil and seafood. Gently toss. To serve, place lettuce cups on plate and divide salad between them. Garnish with extra herbs. 456 calories. Makes 4 servings. Steak and potato salad. 4 pounds boneless top sirloin steak, cut 1 inch thick, trimmed of all visible fat. 3 pounds small red new potatoes, scrubbed and quartered. 2 pounds very young green beans, trimmed. 2 pounds yellow squash, thinly sliced. 2 pounds cherry tomatoes. 4 quarts lightly packed mixed baby salad greens. Dill dressing. 1 cup sour cream. 1/4 cup safflower or olive oil mayonnaise. 1 small red onion, about 3 ounces, minced. 2 tablespoons balsamic vinegar. 2 tablespoons white wine vinegar. 2 to 3 tablespoons Dijon mustard. 1/2 cup chopped fresh dill. Ahead of time, grill steak 5 minutes on each side until medium rare, or to the desired doneness. Cut into slices on diagonal, about 1/2 inch thick. Pack into container and chill. Place potatoes in a pot with water to cover. Bring to a boil. Reduce heat and simmer until fork tender, about 10 minutes. Drain and set aside. Steam green beans and squash over boiling water until just tender, about 4 minutes. Drain and refresh under cold running water. Drain again. Toss green bean mixture with potatoes. Pack into container and chill. Wash and dry cherry tomatoes. Cut each in half and pack into container and chill. Wash and dry salad greens. Pack in plastic bag and chill. Make dressing. Combine all dressing ingredients starting with 2 tablespoons of Dijon. Taste. Adding more as needed. Pack in container and chill. When ready to serve, arrange greens in a large shallow serving bowl. Arrange vegetables over greens and top with steak slices. Scatter tomatoes over salad. Drizzle about 1/4 cup dressing over top of salad. Place remaining dressing nearby to spoon over individual servings. Chicken. Stuffed chicken breast. 1 skinless boneless chicken breast half. 1 ounce crumbled feta cheese with peppercorn, garlic, and herbs. 1/4 cup roasted red sweet peppers. 1 tablespoon olive oil. 1/4 cup chicken broth. 1 cup broccoli. Drain and cut red sweet peppers into strips. Place chicken breast between 2 pieces plastic wrap. Pound lightly with flat side of meat mallet to 1/4 inch thick. Sprinkle chicken breast with feta cheese. Place sweet pepper strings in center of chicken breast. Fold over, filling and rolling up each chicken breast half and secure with wooden toothpicks. In a medium nonstick pan, cook chicken in hot oil over medium heat for about 5 minutes, turning over to brown evenly. Add chicken broth to skillet and bring to boiling. Reduce heat, simmer, and cover for about 8 minutes until done. To serve, spoon juices over stuffed chicken breast. Cuban chicken tenders with black beans. 12 chicken tenders. 1/2 teaspoon chili powder. 1 10-ounce can mild diced tomatoes and green chilies. 1/2 15.5-ounce can. No salt added black beans. Rinsed and drained. 2 teaspoons extra virgin olive oil. 1/2 cup sour cream. Sprinkle both sides of chicken pieces evenly with chili powder. Place a large nonstick skillet over medium-high heat until hot. Lightly coat skillet with olive oil. Cook chicken 2 minutes or until browned on one side. Turn and top with tomatoes and beans. Bring to a boil over medium-high heat and cook for 3 minutes or until chicken is no longer pink in the center. Remove from heat and drizzle oil evenly over all. Serve in shallow soup bowls, topped with sour cream. 263 calories. Serves 4. It's a great on-hand dish. Keep chicken in freezer until needed. Great served over brown rice or whole grain pasta. Orange and honey glazed chicken with almonds. 1 tablespoon honey. 1 whole roasting chicken, 3.5 pounds. Skin and giblets removed, rinsed and dried. 1 teaspoon extra virgin olive oil. 2 garlic cloves. 2 oranges, juiced. 1/2 teaspoon kosher salt. 1/4 teaspoon freshly ground pepper. 1 tablespoon extra virgin olive oil. 1 cup basmati rice, soaked in water for 20 minutes and drained. 1 3/4 cups boiling water. 1 teaspoon turmeric. 1 teaspoon cinnamon. 1 teaspoon ground ginger. Half cup golden raisins, soaked in hot water for 20 minutes and drained. Half cup blanched almonds, slivered. Preheat oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Place honey in a small saucepan. Heat over low heat until fluid. Reserve. Place chicken in a roasting pan greased with olive oil. Put garlic in chicken cavity. Pour warm honey over top. Pour orange juice around base of pan and season chicken with salt and pepper. Roast for 1 hour and 45 minutes, basting every 20 minutes, or until juices run clear from the thigh when pierced. If blood comes out, the chicken is not done. After chicken has been roasting for 1 hour, begin preparing rice. Combine olive oil, rice, boiling water, turmeric, cinnamon, ginger, and salt to taste over high heat. Cook, uncovered, until all the water is absorbed. Stir in raisins. Lower heat to lowest level possible and cover tightly. Cook for 10 minutes. Turn off heat and let stand for 10 minutes. Place small skillet over medium heat. Add almonds. Toast 5 to 10 minutes or until just golden and release their aroma. Stir almonds into rice and keep covered until serving. When chicken is finished, remove from oven, cover with foil, let stand for 10 minutes, then carve. Drizzle with pan juices and serve with rice. 390 calories per serving. Serve 6. Fresh ginger and mint chicken. Half cup coarsely chopped fresh mint. 1 1-inch piece fresh ginger, peeled and chopped, about 1 tablespoon, or use 1 teaspoon ground ginger. 3 medium cloves garlic, minced. 1 cup unsweetened plain yogurt. 2 teaspoons ground coriander. 2 5-ounce boneless skinless chicken breast halves. 1 medium tomato, sliced. Mix mint, ginger, and garlic together in a food processor or small bowl. Add yogurt and coriander. Place chicken in a bowl and pour mixture on top. Marinate 15 minutes, turning once during this time. Preheat broiler. Line baking sheet with foil and place chicken and marinade on sheet. Broil chicken about 5 inches from heat source, 5 minutes per side. Carb counting cheat sheet. The following servings each contain about 15 grams carbohydrates. Each serving counts as 1 carb portion or exchange. Milk products. 1 cup milk. 1 cup almond or coconut milk. 1 cup buttermilk. 2/3 cup plain yogurt. Starch, measured after cooking. 1 slice sprouted bread, weighing 1 ounce. 1/4 large sprouted bagel. Half sprouted whole grain hamburger bun. Hot dog bun, pita bread, English muffin. 1/3 cup rice, pasta, millet, couscous. Half cup beans, pinto, kidney, garbanzo, lentils. Half cup starchy vegetable, potato, corn, peas, sweet potato, yam. Half cup oatmeal, kasha, grits, bulgur. 1 non-GMO corn tortilla, 6-inch size. 3 cups organic popcorn. Fruit. 1 small apple, orange, peach, pear, or nectarine. Half if large fruit. 1 small banana. Half of average banana. Half grapefruit. Half cup unsweetened applesauce. 3/4 cup fresh pineapple chunks, blueberries, or blackberries. 17 grapes. 3 prunes. 1 1/4 cup strawberries or watermelon. 1 cup cantaloupe, honeydew, or papaya. 1 large kiwi. Half cup orange juice, apple juice, or grapefruit juice. 2 tablespoons of raisins. Non-starchy vegetables. Note: the following non-starchy vegetables contain about 5 grams carbohydrate per half cup, cooked, or 1 cup raw. Artichokes, asparagus, beets, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, green beans, eggplant, greens, kohlrabi, leeks, okra, onions, pea pods, peppers, spinach, summer squash, tomato, tomato sauce, turnips, zucchini. Nuts per 2 tablespoons. Almonds 1.4 grams. Cashews 5 grams. Coconut 0.7 grams. Hazelnuts 1.2 grams. Macadamia nuts 0.9 grams. Peanut butter, 4.3 grams. Peanuts, 1.8 grams. Pecans, 0.6 grams. Pine nuts, 1.7 grams. Pistachios, 3.1 grams. Walnuts, 1.1 grams. Your personal meal and exercise planner. The Diabetes Solution Kit is simply designed to recharge, renew, and rebalance your health and body to connect with your healthier self. I know from personal experience and years of customer feedback that thousands of men and women have had their health and vitality restored using the solutions outlined in the Diabetes Solution Kit. The Diabetes Solution Kit is more than just a remedy for treating diabetes. It is a complete lifestyle transformation that changes how you feel about yourself and your health and helps you avoid and overcome relapses into self-destructing old habits. Sometimes you need a gentle reminder or nudge to keep you inspired and on the right track. This is precisely where the dedicated workbook and journal can assist you by providing you with individual insight into your own health and behaviors. It will serve as a personal sanctuary where you do not have to take care of anyone or anything but yourself. It will provide you with a place for personal reflection and the keys to success that only you know and discover. For many of you, this journal will be the only opportunity for a short time every day to reflect and be completely honest with yourself. Your personal meal and exercise planner will also help you keep tabs of all the little steps along the way. Research has shown that successful lifestyle and eating habits are made with baby step changes you make each day, which will produce long-lasting effects. The transformations you experience during the course of the program will be ingrained in your head, and without even realizing it, you will start to live the life and the habits you began in this workbook. This workbook will help to identify the unconscious habits and roadblocks that hinder you from having a healthy life. Journaling will also help pinpoint where you need to make tweaks in your eating, activity, and personal habits. Keeping an accurate journal will prove to be your biggest asset in overcoming diabetes. After all, you are your best ally on this quest. I can only give you so many tools, remedies, and support. The rest is up to you. I personally congratulate you for making this commitment toward reversing diabetes. You are beginning the lifelong journey of better health. The time is here for you to start recognizing and acknowledging your own progress toward the solution. Start living by doing and journaling. Yours for excellent health, Joe Barton. Workbook and Journal. Name. Start date. Why am I trying to reverse my diabetes symptoms? What is my reward for reaching my goal? Expectations and initial thoughts. Meals, beverages, and snacks. Upon rising, before breakfast. Breakfast. Snack. Before lunch. Lunch. Snack. Before dinner. Dinner. Snack. Before bed. Natural remedies and supplements taken today. Water I drink today. I need to drink. Today I drank. My evaluation. My blood sugar readings today. How do I feel about how I stuck to the Diabetes Solution Kit today? What remedies, supplements worked for me today? What remedies, supplements did not work for me today? What foods helped me? And what foods caused problems? I did well today with. I will work harder tomorrow too. Daily reflections. The last time I had a high blood glucose reading was. Notes. Repeat for every day of the week. Grocery list. Our grocery list is divided into 3 sections: staples, perishables, and supplements. Staples and supplements can be purchased weeks in advance. Shop for the perishable items a few days before you will use them. Staples. Canned goods. Natural beef stock, 9 cups. Black beans, no salt added, 2 15.5-ounce cans. Cannellini beans, 16-ounce can. Natural chicken broth, 8 cups. Dark kidney beans, 16-ounce can. Pineapple, crushed, packed in natural juice, 8-ounce can. Tomatoes, no salt added, diced, 2 14.5-ounce cans. Tomatoes and green chilies, diced, 10-ounce can. Tomatoes with Mexican seasonings, stewed, diced, 14.5-ounce can. Tomato sauce, low sodium. Vegetable broth, low sodium. White tuna, water packed, 6-ounce can. Grains. Quinoa, brown basmati rice, Italian arborio rice, oats rolled, preferably organic, quick cooking polenta, wild rice. Groceries. Cereal, high fiber cluster style, chocolate chips, mini. Clam juice, 2 cups. Dijon mustard, dill pickles, dry white wine, golden raisins, liquid egg substitute, mango chutney, pasteurized or organic butter, safflower or olive oil mayonnaise, spelt pizza crust, thin, 10-ounce, roasted red sweet peppers, sun-dried tomatoes, wonton wrappers, 12. Pantry. Spelt flour, whole wheat flour, stevia, baking stevia, honey, light brown sugar, baking soda, baking powder, sea salt, balsamic vinegar, red wine vinegar, white wine vinegar. Pasta, whole wheat pasta, rice pasta. Nuts, blanched almonds, slivered, chopped walnuts or pecans, peanuts, unsalted, pumpkin seeds, salted in shell, unsweetened flaked coconut. Oils, pasteurized or organic butter, safflower oil, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil cooking spray. Spices, basil, bay leaves, cinnamon, chili powder, cloves, coriander, cumin, curry powder, dill, garlic powder, ground ginger, nutmeg, oregano, peppercorns, ground pepper, thyme, turmeric, vanilla. Perishables. Breads. Sprouted English muffins. True sourdough, yeast-free. Ezekiel or Alvarado brand bread. Sprouted fresh breadcrumbs. Cheeses. Feta cheese with peppercorn, garlic, and herbs. Freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Part skim mozzarella cheese. Dairy. Free-range or organic eggs. Unsweetened yogurt. Sour cream. Organic milk. Fresh herbs. Basil, cilantro, mint, parsley, rosemary, tarragon, thyme. Meat and seafood. Breakfast sausage, reduced fat. Canadian bacon. Chicken breast, boneless, skinless, antibiotic-free. Chicken, whole roasting, 3.5 pounds, rinsed, skin, and giblets removed. Farm-fresh fish such as sea bass or red snapper, 1 pound. Firm white fish such as monkfish, halibut, grouper, or red snapper. 2 pounds boneless and skinless. Halibut steaks, 1.25 pounds. Ham, low fat, low salt. Mussels in the shell. Salmon fillet, skinless, 4 ounces. Sea scallops, 1 pound. Shrimp large, ½ pound. Shrimp medium, peeled and deveined. Top sirloin steak, 4 pounds boneless. Produce. Asparagus, bananas, bell pepper green, bell pepper red, broccoli, carrots, celery, cherry tomatoes, 2 pounds. Cucumber, fresh ginger, garlic, grapes, seedless red, green beans, 2 pounds. Eggplant, lemons, lettuce, limes, mixed baby salad greens, 4 quarts. Mushrooms such as shiitake, portobello, chanterelles, or button mushrooms. Onions, yellow. onions red, oranges, potatoes baking, red small potatoes 3 pounds, scallions, spinach baby 2 cups about half cup, tomatoes vine ripened 2 pounds, plum tomato, yellow summer squash 3 pounds, zucchinis. Supplements: Chromax, chromium picolinate, pycnogenol, alpha-lipoic acid, calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, cinnamon, water-soluble extract standardized to 0.95%, trimeric and tetrameric. A-type polymers, take 125 milligrams. Acetyl L-carnitine or carnitine. Ginkgo biloba. Note: do not use ginkgo without medical supervision if you take Coumadin, warfarin, or other blood-thinning medicines. Fenugreek seeds, Gymnema sylvestre, benfodiamine, mulberry, Asian ginseng, also called Korean ginseng, fish oil, whey protein, zinc, fiber, triple complex diabetonic. Insulet Plus contains chromium picolinate, ginkgo biloba, and Gymnema sylvestre. Barton Publishing's Natural Health Resources. Barton Publishing has also created a Barton Natural Health blog site dedicated to preserving and supporting holistic and alternative healthy living. Take a moment to check it out, but don't forget to sign up and join in healthy discussions for life. www.blog.bartonpublishing.com. That's www.blog.bartonpublishing.com. Come by and visit for more Barton Publishing remedy reports, reports on acid reflux disease, allergies, asthma, arthritis, bad breath, brain health, memory, depression, ED, female hair loss, gallstones, gout, Graves' disease, herpes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, hypothyroidism, kidney stones, Lyme disease, scabies, urinary tract infection, yeast infection.
This has been the Diabetes Solution Kit, written by Dr. Scott Saunders, MD, and narrated by Liam Jeffries. Copyright Barton Publishing, Incorporated.
Audible hopes you have enjoyed this program.